Ilia Topuria has released another statement regarding his ongoing divorce today. Ilia corrected the media outlet who reported that he had been summoned to court, framing it as being connected to a domestic violence case. Ilia confirms that he does have to appear in court, but says it is for a family-related administrative matter involving his daughter, not to testify in a domestic violence case as the outlet originally reported. Ilia's new statement reads, "I have always felt deeply grateful for the respectful treatment I have received from the media, who have been and continue to be an important part of my journey throughout all these years. Unfortunately, and very much to my regret, I am currently in the news for matters that have nothing to do with sports. I understand that being a public figure means being exposed to fake news and misleading, sensationalist headlines designed solely to generate clicks, without regard for the truth or the consequences. Yesterday, a media outlet published a story with a false headline, claiming that I had been summoned to testify in a domestic violence case. That headline later had to be changed because it was not true. I have never been summoned to testify for that reason, although I will of course do so willingly if ever required. The fact is that, due to how the judicial system works, I am required to go to that court, but the summons is solely related to a family and administrative matter concerning my daughter's travel outside of Spain, whom I have been unable to see for 4 months despite numerous attempts. I accept the cost of public exposure, but that does not justify the spread of unverified false information, the distortion of facts, or the disclosure of matters involving a minor who deserves protection. The situation began with a divorce petition filed by me, following weeks of negotiations after our separation. After I refused to accept certain completely unreasonable financial demands, a complaint alleging abuse was filed weeks later, something I had been previously threatened with, which is now being reviewed by the courts. I continue to place my trust in God, in justice, and in people. I know the truth will prevail, and that I will soon be able to recover one of the 2 most important things in my life, alongside my son Hugo, my daughter Georgina. All I ask of the media is the same respect and rigor that most of them have always shown me, and that they stick with the facts, because the truth follows only one path. God bless you." As most of you know by now, Alex Pereira is now dating Tracy Cortez. Alex posted more footage of the two training together.
Oh, foi melhor, já saiu pra trás. É que meu braço tá muito comprido. Por isso tô jogando devagar.
Mas estou sendo bom.
Tá bem.
Vem.
Olha, tá meu braço muito grande. Mas tá legal. Tá de boa. Vamos lá, vamos lá. É bem.
Joe Rogan thinks Islam Makhachev is a more well-rounded fighter than Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Khabib is without doubt one of the all-time greats, one of the greatest to ever do it. But the difference between Khabib and Islam is elite stand-up wise. Like Khabib was very good stand-up, but Islam knocked out Volkanovski with a head kick. You know, that's not in Khabib's repertoire. Islam is on another level. It's like one more level above. He can knock you out standing. He can knock you out on the ground. He can submit you. He can take you down. He's huge for the weight class, especially 155. It's like there's so many aspects, and you're always thinking about that grappling when you're striking. So when you say like, oh, you know, who's better striker, Islam or Jack Della Maddalena? Well, it depends, because if you got to worry about that takedown, your striking is not going to be the same. It's just not going to be the same, because everything he does, you're always looking for that takedown, and that factor, it leads to guys getting hit all the time.
Justin Gaethje hits his coach with some body shots and then takes him down. He's preparing to face Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight title at UFC 324 later this month.
We back! Alright, it's Friday, sparring day. I'm trying to get that little warrior out of him. Ready to go, it's almost game time. Okay, alright, we had a little Mexican off here. I might have bit off a little too much, I can chew, but I will say this. Come January 24th, he's ready. Oh, God! God!
Oh my God, you are such a jerk, dude. Dude, that would have killed me.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. You are, dude.
Every vertebrae popped to my back.
Dominick Cruz has responded to the criticism he received following a viral post on social media after UFC 323. After Alessandro Pantoja suffered an arm injury and Joshua Van was crowned the new flyweight champion, Cruz shared a post on X that quickly sparked backlash. He wrote, "I wish that Van versus Pantoja was allowed to keep going. It should be up to us as the fighter if we want to continue after that. We put the time in the training camp in that situation. People dislocate their arms and put it back in place and keep fighting all the time." Many fans took issue with the comment, noting that Pantoja immediately acknowledged the injury and didn't really complain about the stoppage himself. Cruz has since explained his perspective on the Love and War podcast.
I think the reason why this tweet got picked up is because it sounds kind of crazy probably, but as a fighter myself, I watched that fight and saw somebody who was shaking his head when it got stopped. It's like he looked up at the ref. So right here, you'll see he falls, boom, he's shaking his head like no, could've, you know, and he's like, I'm all right. You see him saying that? I'm not saying he is okay, by the way. All right. He might be completely messed up right now. For all I know, he could be saying, yeah, freak accident, shouldn't have happened. He could just be disappointed that it's over, that it got stopped. But the way I see it, he's like, I'm all right. But the thing about dislocations are, once you put them back into place, you're good. We've seen other fighters do it, and I don't know if he was able to get it right back into place, but I know once the joint goes back, the pain goes away. And I can tell you that from myself. I've had my shoulder dislocated in the middle of practice. The second you get it back into place, the pain goes down and you can tough it out. I've watched Brendan Loughnane break his ulna from a spinning back fist in the second round, go on to win the fight and get millions of dollars because they allowed that fight to go on. I think the difference between the injuries and Pantoja's injury is when he landed, the referee could see the damage. And before Pantoja could make the decision of, hey, I'm gonna lock it back in and try to see if it works and get back to my feet, they called the fight. So the ref made the decision for him that his elbow was compromised, so the fight must stop. My only thing about this tweet is he should have the choice, like give him a second. maybe Joshua Van starts pounding his face into the ground and he's just holding his elbow, getting beat to death. Okay, fight's over. But he didn't even get the chance to try to fight, try to tough it out, try to get it back together. The ref just called the fight. And then I just see a Pantoja who put in a miserable training camp, shaking his head, going, all that work for a 38-second fight. When, I don't know, I wonder, I would love to have him on and ask him, like, would you have liked to keep that fight going? Mind you, I'm not saying he would have kept fighting. If I had Pantoja here, he might say, dude, I was done. The pain was so much. I was shaking my head because I was disappointed in myself. Okay, I'm just saying, if I was in Pantoja's space, I want a chance to get to my feet and yank that thing back in, see if I can get it going. Maybe I can get moving.
Andrei Arlovski says Jack Doherty has now disappeared after recently claiming that he wanted to fight. Arlovski got into a physical altercation with Jack and a few of his friends at the Jake Paul vs. Anthony Joshua event. Afterwards, Jack said Arlovski could either box his security guard or him and his two friends at the same time. In an interview with MMAfighting.com this week, Arlovski said it was viral for only 2 days. He called me this and that, and then he talked about boxing and if I understood for MMA. My manager mentioned something like Misfits contacted them, and no response, nothing. He was super brave, super loud for those 2 or 3 days, and now he disappeared. When this altercation happened, I woke up the next morning and I didn't understand what was going on. A lot of people sent me text messages, phone calls saying you are a hero. You're the people's champ, etc. I guess the f***ing dickhead, he's not a super nice person, Jack Doherty or whatever his name is. You know what's more interesting? I live in a small community and I was throwing a baseball with my son and some kids, like 10 years old. Oh, you're the guy from TikTok. I said, TikTok? I don't have a TikTok. They said, no, I saw you against Jack Doherty. I'm asking my son, who's Jack Doherty? That guy from the Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight. I'm a hero right now on TikTok. I might open a TikTok and use TikTok. What surprised me and why I was disappointed, nobody tried to stop the f***ing fight. Everybody started recording stuff. In those days, I don't understand them. No security. That bodyguard punched me because for some reason I thought he was a person from the crowd who just got lost for some reason. I thought it was an accident. One punch. I said, what the f***? Second punch. I started chasing him and somebody started throwing punches from behind. It wasn't fun. I really appreciate it, and I'm really proud of my wife and my son. They stood up for me and they tried to save my ass. That was the only memorable moment that was very exciting, and I'm proud of them. I don't know if we'll ever cross paths again. Hopefully not, but maybe. Daniel Cormier believes Cain Velasquez would be the greatest heavyweight of all time if it weren't for injuries.
Cain Velasquez is the best everything I've ever felt. Dude, seriously. If Cain Velasquez didn't get hurt, guys, he would be far and away the greatest heavyweight ever. He was so good at everything. One time we're sparring and I hit him hard. And then the next thing I realized, like, sparring was over because he hit me hard. And I was like, what happened? I was like, yo, what are you doing, dude? We're just sparring. He's like, well, you hit me hard. But it's all he knew, right? He just knew hard. And he's the best, dude. He's the best ever. Unfortunately, he's going through a lot of stuff right now. There's like a sentencing next week, so you guys pray for my brother. But he was the best everything. And I owe a lot of my career to him. I wouldn't have done everything I did if I didn't have Cain Velasquez.
John Anik reveals the UFC may actually be stacking the White House card with 6 to 7 title fights, potentially featuring names like Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira, Khamzat Chimaev, Petr Yan, Merab, and more.
The Donald Trump video that's going viral, he's talking about 8 or 9 championship fights on one card, a UFC White House card. It's going to be the biggest card of all time. I think you confirmed that.
So 8 sounds idealistic and awfully ambitious, but I do believe, Bear and Michael, that we are moving in a direction in which you might see 6 or 7 undisputed titles contested on the White House lawn. Well, if you think about it, they're getting UFC 324 and UFC 325 in the can by February 1st. All of those champions are going to be cleared, right?
So they get them done nice and quick. They got time to recover.
The month of February then I think has no numbered events, right? Then the first numbered event in March is being headlined by a non-undisputed title, the BMF belt, which doesn't really count, right? And then you think a pay-per-view, a numbered event, in April or May, and then June 14th, a lot of these champions are going to be available, if not held out, right? The heavyweight title, Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane, probably going to be on the White House.
That's not going to be until then. That's crazy.
Well, maybe Aspinall, right?
I get it,
but
I get it.
I think you'll get like what you are going to get first or second quarter is like Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira, right? But Khamzat Chimaev, probably going to fight on the White House lawn. Alex Pereira, why would you trot him out there sooner? He's already said he wants to wait for the White House, right? Merab Dvalishvili and Petr Yan
versus
complete their trilogy, potentially.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Khamzat. It says, Brian left Tracy to marry the mother of his children, and people will still clown him. The second one's from Bubbler Time. It says, Joe falling for AI, what's new? And the final one's from Smoke 'em If You Got 'em. It says, Chandler gonna walk into McGregor's funeral like, Conor McGregor, you can't run from me anymore. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.